Have you ever thought about what would happen to your minor children if, God forbid, you were in an accident today? Hi, I'm Attorney Ummi, and this week we're going to be talking about why you have to name legal guardians for your children right now. If you haven't, let's dive in. So almost 70% of Americans have not named legal guardians for their children. If you have a minor child at home, this may be you, and that's okay. The problem is a lot of us are not educated about the importance of naming guardians for your children. So what is a legal guardian? A legal guardian is a person that you designate to be taking care of your children or to have the legal right to take care of your child if something happens to you right now. So if you become incapacitated or if you were to pass away and you have a minor child, someone has to have the legal right to raise your children. And we may think a lot of times that it is going to be our family members, but that's not necessarily the case. I'll give you a quick story about the Barber family and why it's important for you to designate who you want. So this family was on a trip from California to Arizona, and unfortunately they were in a car accident. The two parents passed away and they had 3 boys who survived. So one of the sisters of the mom came forward and took the children. She wanted to be the guardian and be in charge of their money. Unfortunately, she did not allow any of the other family members to see the children. And so one of the other sisters of the mom filed a lawsuit against her and wanted to be the one in charge of the kids. And after a long year of litigation, over $100,000 spent in that litigation, the judge decided that the subsequent sister should be in charge of the boys. And the judge appointed a financial guardian to be in charge of the money, and the boys receive everything at the age of 18. And this financial guardian is going to be paid on an hourly basis to take care of that money. So whatever is left when they turn 18, they receive all that money. And this, you can easily tell from this that as a parent, that is probably not okay with you. It's not okay with me, and I'm sure that's the case for you. Now I want to tell you a personal story today about my own experience with the court system. So I went through a divorce a few years ago, and after my divorce, my ex abducted the children. And after he had abducted them, I was able to get them back after what I can put mildly as one of the most horrific experiences of my life. I was able to retain the kids, bring them back to the US because they were abducted outside the country. When I brought them back to the US, even though the judge in our case was very upset with my ex and he was ready to grant all of our wishes and all of my requests to the court, unfortunately at that time the court had a visiting judge. So a visiting judge is a judge basically subbing for another judge. So this visiting judge that was on the bench that day had no idea what we've been through, the months and months of suffering and back and forth of litigation that we went through. This visiting judge decided he was going to deny all of our requests. At that time, me and my attorney had requested supervised visits for my ex and had requested a few other things, including restraining orders and everything. Unfortunately, that visiting judge decided he didn't feel like granting all of our requests. And what happened at that time, basically my ex had access to the kids again as if nothing happened. And fast forward almost 2 years later, after COVID had subsided, my ex abducted the kids again. And he was able to do that only because this judge had given him permission to have access to the kids again. So it took me at least over a year, close to 15 months, before I was able to recover the kids again after my ex abducted them the second time. So I share this story with you to tell you that you can take matters into your own hands and you can designate a guardian for your child right now. Or you can leave it up to a judge to make that decision for you. But remember, that judge doesn't know your family situation, doesn't know your family dynamics, and has no idea what's best for your children. And that's why I say it's urgent. You need to designate a guardian for your children or your child. If you have a minor child at home and you haven't designated a legal guardian for them, because if you don't, you're leaving it up to the court system and up to a judge who is a stranger to make that decision for you. It is your constitutional right to do it, so go ahead and do it now. If you need help figuring out how to designate legal guardian for your child, schedule a free call with me today and we can get you taken care of. We have free resources, even if you cannot afford it, that can help you Make sure that your children are taken care of by the people you trust and not by someone else. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to watch one of my other videos about how to name legal guardians for your child, linked here on the screen, and I will see you there.